because Serie B is it's a wild league and a lot of things go on. So
it's a wild league. Well said. And I'm sure we'll have a lot of. We're gonna laugh a lot about our predictions.
Guaranteed to be wrong. Let's just
absolutely 100%.
Cittadella are the only team in Veneto for this season because Vicenza failed to get promoted. Venezia went up to Serie A.
I would be happy with Carrarese and Reggiana being last and second to last. We are going to be touching upon each and every one of the teams on the league, so stay with us, interact with us, and together we're going to be speaking Serie B. Roma!
Welcome to episode 7 of Speaking Serie B. Here with me is Elia, the Italian guy, as well as me Jake Jovine from Città Calcio USA. Episode 7, we are, 7 episodes in. We are 6 games into the season, and we're looking forward to talking about it. So here with me, once again, is Elia, the Italian guy. Elia, how are you doing? How was my first intro?
That's awesome. That's perfect. Much better English than mine, so that's great. Thank you, Jake.
I didn't have much time to prepare. Like, the countdown was starting, and I was like, "Oh my god, I gotta, like it's like I realized like I had to make something up." So no, but it's all good. It's all good.
Awesome. So I know that there is some breaking news just from tonight, so I'll let you lead the episode because the most exciting news of the day is about Cittadella. So tell us about it. What happened?
Oh yes, yeah. So so I just mentioned that we said we're all good, but it's not so good for Cittadella because they have lost their reappeal to Pisa. So currently it is a 3-0 win awarded to Pisa a Tavolino. That's how they say in Italy. Forfeited win 3-0. The Court of Appeals has ruled in Pisa's favor for that game in August that finished 1-1. As you know, the issue that Pisa were arguing was that Jacopo De Sugus, a player for Cittadella who started on the bench, did not appear on the match list, and Cittadella originally changed it 14 minutes after the start of the game. So Pisa argued that that wasn't fair, that shouldn't have happened, but De Sugus entered in the second half after the correction was made, and he played 21 minutes. Didn't score, didn't assist. He got a yellow card. But Pisa still said that wasn't allowed. If you remember from a few weeks ago, the sporting judge initially ruled that there was not enough to overturn this result. So they kept the 1-1 result. However, a fine was imposed for Cittadella, the club, and as well as the team manager for Cittadella, Federico Cerantola. So then it went to the Court of Appeals, which, if you remember from the Regina case of with Brescia and Lecco, like last summer, that whole chaos, that was just one of many courts. So Pisa appealed to that, and today they announced that they won it. So currently it is a 3-0 win in favor of Pisa. So
I only followed both situations like from the sideline because they weren't about Spezia. So I don't know. Most of what I know is because you've been updating me through our chats, but I did not see this coming. I was really thinking that, Cittadella was out of the woods with this situation. So
no, it's never. I mean, there is still a possibility that Cittadella can reappeal this again. I believe it's the CONI court, they say, or the Covisc. I'm not sure. I read it somewhere that there's a possibility of reappealing, but I don't know how likely it is that they're gonna.
I'm gonna be like a sort of an analyst for you. And how does this make you feel? Because on our previous chat, you told us, I just want this to be over, make up a decision, but just don't keep on dragging the situation. And here they are, they made a decision, but now Cittadella has the possibility to appeal to the current decision. So we keep on dragging it along. And in the meantime, the table changes because now
Yeah.
the points are on Pisa, and it seems to be it is the only team at the top of the table now with a 3 point lead on Spezia and Sassuolo. So it really is faking it all. So what do you think about this? How do you feel about
Yeah,
it?
I mean, the night before, like, I kind of I had a feeling that this was, they were gonna overturn this, and it's just I really was shocked when the sporting judge ruled in Cittadella's favor because at the end of the day, they did, break the rules. They did like as soon as the game started, they did have to change the list real quickly, even though it didn't make a difference in the result. They still the rules are the rules. So I think I think the court also kind of sensed that like if they don't rule in Pisa's favor, this is going to set a dangerous situation for other clubs.
Yeah, it's a bad signals for
Yeah,
everybody else.
could
Yeah, that's how.
they could
Mhm.
then they could do what Cittadella did, and maybe in the next time someone will score and end up winning the game for them. So
Right.
it kind of sends this dangerous precedent if they had ruled. But like I said, it's probably not over. Cittadella is probably going to appeal again. However, if I'm looking at this, I'm not really surprised that they ruled it because for me the evidence was just too clear.
Mhm.
But it's really unfortunate because as the season moves on, like you said, um, this would have been a really good result because Pisa has been playing very well. It would have been a good 1-1 draw, hard fought, good point. Now Pisa has 16 points. They've
Right.
extended their lead at the top, and Cittadella lose 1 point, so they are currently with 7 points down there.
Yeah,
So
here is the table. We can see the table, and we can talk. We can
no,
start by
it's
talking
already
about
been
the table.
updated.
Yeah, at least yeah, this is the Google one, right? Yes. Uh, Yeah, the only two teams that have been able to stop this unstoppable Pisa were Spezia on the very first round of the season, and then Cittadella that just as of right now, because there could be another appeal and the result could change again, is a loss. So yet another win, one draw only for Pisa, and 5 wins. So
Yeah,
I don't
and
want to say there is escaping, but 4 points lead, not three
yeah,
points
I
lead.
mean
4 points lead already, so more than a
it's a very
game.
commanding lead this early, and
Mhm.
people will say like, "Oh, well, it's only 1 point; they should move on." But as you could see many times in Serie B in the past, like 1 point can make a huge, huge difference. So,
Of course, especially in
uh,
Serie B when everybody is so close.
yeah, yeah. So hopefully at the end of the season, this won't make a huge difference.
Right.
But man, it's really a really
Annoying, I guess.
annoying situation and one that could have been easily avoided. It's a
Mhm.
really amateur mistake in terms of
So
like,
before we
this.
move on to the next point, what is the time frame at this point? So Cittadella is going to appeal for sure,
Well,
and if they do, when should they get an answer by? When is a
uh,
final decision going to be made by?
wh- well, I don't know if they are gonna appeal. I just read an article from Padova Oggi, from actually one of our good friends, a guest on one of my podcasts, Enrico Leo. He made an article that said, at the end that there could be an appeal by the CONI. The I can't pronounce it, and I don't want to pronounce it, but what it really
Connie
stands
is right. Connie.
il
Connie.
collegio di garanzia.
Yeah.
Garanzia.
Okay.
The
Mhm.
Yeah, yeah. So that level of court, whether it's not official, I don't think they announced anything that they will appeal for it, but we'll keep you updated on that. Like I said in the previous episode, I don't want this dragging on till December, January, February because it just like you said, the table's always changing. The table is always moving, and you don't want this always to keep the back of your mind kind of looming over your head as the
Right.
season
Right.
goes on. You kind of just want to move from it.
Also
Maybe
because it's already
that
the second please go, sorry.
yeah, yeah, that might be the best thing Cittadella could do at this point. Just kind of accept the mistake, kind of move on, focus. They got a really big game this upcoming Friday against Frosinone,
And
which
we'll
we'll
talk about
talk
that
about.
too. Yeah, for
But
sure.
really,
All I
it's
wanted to say is that this is already the second withdrawal point, like it happened for Cosenza. This is not on the same. It's different, but
yeah,
it's something that goes to change the table for reasons that have not been um, given by the pitch. For reasons that are outside the pitch, basically. So it is annoying.
yeah. The Lega B website, the standings that I'm currently looking at, it has Cittadella at 6 points, even though they should be at seven because they have two wins. I guess you say three losses now, and what was it? Two
Two
draws.
wins, one draw, and three losses.
Yeah, that should be 7 points. I don't know why they have
Yeah,
it shows it at six here on the. This
on
is the
Google,
Lega.
on Google it's correct though. Yeah.
Am I missing something? I really
I don't know, 6 game, 2 wins, 1 draw, 3 losses. That's
three.
6 point plus
Yeah,
1,
they
that's
should have
7.
7. I don't know why.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh,
I don't
well.
know. Anyhow, let's quickly go through this current table. So Pisa is currently leading in light of this decision, which could
What
be overruled, overturned again. Is that how you say it? Could
yeah,
be
yeah, and they, score 2 magic goals, so they have 14
right.
goals.
Okay, I see. Right, because 0 to 3 a tavolino. Right. Then, following Pisa, the closest team at this point is Spezia with 12 points, and then Sassuolo. And these two teams are going to be playing on the next round together in Reggio Emilia. So we'll talk about that shortly in a bit. And this seems to be like the big match of the upcoming round, just as Pisa Brescia or Brescia Pisa was in the previous one, if I'm not mistaken.
Mhm.
Let me go see it. I want to be precise.
Yes, it was, Pisa won that
Pisa
game.
Brescia, Pisa Brescia, right, 2-1. Then Cremonese at 10 together with Mantova. Then we have Brescia, Südtirol at 9. And then we have a bunch of teams at 8 points. Modena, Bari, Cesena, Reggiana, Palermo, Juve Stabia, and no longer Cittadella that now has 7 points together with Salernitana. And then we have Catanzaro at 6, Sampdoria at 5, Cosenza at 4 because of 4 points penalization. And then at the end of the table, we have Carrarese and Frosinone at 3 points. Frosinone, which going to be, as you said, the next opponent of Cittadella in round 7. Let's go through our brief analysis, I would say, of the games that were the subject of the most recent round, round 6. So let me show them here. It's going to take a second.
And if it
Here we
wasn't
are.
for Cosenza's, point deduction, I think Cittadella would be in the relegation zone during,
Ah,
the game.
right, good point. It's
Yeah.
true. Correct. So I didn't watch any other game this weekend than the Spezia game. So I can just quickly see who scored and let me know if you saw any of these matches. Let's start with Catanzaro Cremonese, where Catanzaro lost on his own pitch, in a home game with Cremonese 1-2. Uh,
Barbieri scoring
Castan-
in the 88th
yeah,
minute.
there you go. Castagnetti at the fifth, then the equalizer of Campagnon, and then Barbieri at the 88th, as you said. Have you followed the game? Do you know anything about this game? What is your impression?
Don't know much, I didn't watch it.
Mhm. Just Cremonese is showing to be the team that
Yeah,
we are
I mean,
expecting to be most likely. It's just doing
good
what they're supposed to do this season.
yeah, good win. I think Cremonese kind of finding their form. They won that's another away win. They won big at Sassuolo, um, getting a point against Spezia, and, yeah, just kind of slowly climbing up the table.
Yeah, also because looking at the stats is a very solid win. I mean, the stats sometimes are lying, but 17 shots, only 3 on target, but they shoot at least like double the times and more
That
than
possession stat is quite surprising
yeah,
just 'cause, Catanzaro likes to have possession. They like to have
Right,
the ball. We saw
right.
it last week with Cittadella, but yeah, that's very interesting.
Yeah, they like everything is on their favor, even the faults. 4 yellow cards for Cremonese, 2 for Catanzaro. So it was a real game to 6 corners and 4. So just a solid win from Cremonese, which won on a difficult, Catanzaro is not an easy place to play. Spezia knows something about it
And
from
a
last
long
season.
trip,
So
a
yeah,
long trip.
right.
Yeah.
Then there was the draw between Palermo and Cesena, 0-0. So not much to say about this game. Just
No.
Palermo interrupted, although it's still a positive result, but interrupted the winning streak because I think they were coming from 3 consecutive wins, if I'm not mistaken. No, a win, a draw, a win, and now another draw. So they keep on with the positive streak, but they didn't win. Please,
Mhm.
did you watch this game? Did
I
you
did not.
follow?
I just know that Cesena, I believe, had a goal ruled out.
I
I
see.
believe it was Cargbo who scored, but yeah, 0-0.
And you just told me that Cesena beat Pisa in Coppa Italia, right?
Yes, that ended earlier this morning.
All right. Then the next game, I want to see if I can go back. But before, when I was going back, it was sending. Okay, perfect. Sampdoria su Tirol. Sampdoria finally gets a win. And is it Yeah, okay, yeah, this is the first win of the season in
Mhm.
Genova with Südtirol, which seemed to be in pretty good shape. I didn't give them much credit for this season, but they started and they are um, they are doing much better than I foresaw in my predictions for the season. So um, it's just the time for Sampdoria to get their head together and start winning games, I guess, because they started on a very wrong foot. So
Yeah, yeah. This first win of the season actually for Sampdoria. It's Südtirol, 3 wins, 3 losses, 9 goals scored, 9 goals conceded. So a very inconsistent start to the year for Südtirol, but they do have 9 points. That is two better than what Cittadella have.
right. And then we have Pisa Brescia. Pisa won 2-1 in Brescia. This was the big match of this round. Pisa gained the lead after 2 minutes with Piccinini. Then Moncini scored the equalizer, and at the end, Tramoni at the 78th minute gave the final lead and the win to Pisa. I did not watch this game, so I don't have
I
anything else to
I
say.
didn't watch it either. The morning slate of games for this on the Saturday games. I was kind of flipping around from each, so I didn't quite catch like a lot of each game, but I got some glimpses. So,
Mhm.
but yeah, big win for Pisa. Like we said, they got 2 extra points just today, even though they didn't play in Serie B. That's okay.
It stings. It stings. I understand. Then we had Reggiana Salernitana 0-0. So I
Oof,
don't think it was a very exciting game, but
no.
it seemed like
Wow.
Salernitana had the most
8
occasion
shots on
and better
target.
possession. Yeah, yeah.
Oh. Ugh, yeah,
I,
I'm kinda glad I didn't watch that game. I don't like 0-0 draws.
I understand. Uh, so And then there was Cosenza Sassuolo. Sassuolo getting their game together. Although Cosenza, look at this 23 shots versus 11 by Sassuolo. 4 on target for Cosenza, better possession. This is similar to this is not uncommon for Alvini because this is look like the stats of Spezia Calcio last season. A lot of possession, a lot of shots, but then there was a very low conversion rate compared to the amount of shots.
Huh,
And the goal was scored by Loriente. Loriente. Go ahead, please.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Um, eh, Quite an impressive week for Sassuolo because they had 3 away games and 3 victories, including the one in the Coppa Italia. First they had last week against Carrarese, 2-0
Mhm.
in Pisa. Then they go south, long trip to Cosenza, getting the 1-0 win. And then in the Coppa Italia yesterday, they won against Lecce 2-0 in Lecce.
Right.
So,
right.
a lot of travel, a lot of games, but they ended up with 3 clean sheets, 3 wins. So, maybe the things are starting to get clicking for Fabio Grosso's men and, finally getting that start because they had a little bit of a rocky start, not a horrible start, but,
Right.
you'd expect now to see the wheels starting to turn for Sassuolo, maybe. So we'll
Well, I
see.
hope hopefully not this weekend since they're
And
playing with
and then
Spezia.
and then the next
No, I
weekend they
see
play
what you're saying.
Cittadella.
Right, right, right. So
Yeah,
I
so
see what you're saying, and yeah, they won in Coppa Italia with Lecce, the team that's from Serie A, coached by Luca Gotti, so the one of the ex coaches of Spezia Calcio, and yeah, I mean, good for them. Very good point. Three solid wins, clean sheet, and now it's going to be a good test for Spezia, who's one of the best. It's one of the teams that scored the most goals, second only to Pisa. Pisa scored 14 goals,
well
Spezia
well well,
11.
12 goals on
Right,
the
good
field.
point. Good point. Sorry, good point. So we're very close there. 12 for Pisa, 11 for Spezia. But now we are facing a team that did not concede a goal in the last three games, as you were pointing out. Yesterday, I was protagonist of two lives, and they were pointing out that, yeah, facing Sassuolo's defensive line is going to be a good test because we've been scoring, Spezia's been scoring mainly from. Uh, not from active balls. We call them palle inattive, like
Like set pieces,
penal. Yes, like
corner kicks,
penalties,
set pieces.
corners, exactly, and especially we've been scoring with defensive players. Bertola scored twice. Captain Ristov scored twice. And now we're going to be facing a very physical defensive line as well. So it's going to be a good test to see how well we can do with a team that's also coming down from higher division. So it's going to be an
Mm,
interesting game. And
yeah,
yeah, I'll look forward to do the predictions with
yeah,
you later.
and then the next week, Cittadella do play Sassuolo, at the Mapei Stadium too before the October international break. We already kinda got a quick glimpse of Sassuolo early on in August in the Coppa Italia,
Ah,
where they defeated Cittadella 2-1. But yeah, they
nice.
they still have a really good squad. I mean,
Hmm.
Loriente, Mulattieri, Baloca, Thorstvedt.
Mulattieri from Spezia, by the way.
Yeah, yeah, I remember you telling me that, and, remember they still have Domenico Berardi, who is injured,
Ah,
um,
right,
so
right.
he I was expecting him to come late in the season and maybe help them push on to promotion, but,
Playoffs at least. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Very valid
yeah,
point. Very
and
valid
and
point.
Grosso's already won Serie B with Frosinone, 2 seasons ago, so, really good squad Sassuolo has.
And yeah, right. Like Inzaghi for Pisa is a seasoned coach for the category. Valid point indeed.
Mm,
Yeah. All right. The next game would be Modena Juve Stabia 3-0. Solid win by Modena, who started scoring on a penalty with Palumbo, then with Santoro, and then Abuso.
mhm.
And Juve Stabia, who started with a very solid beginning to the championship, now is having a reality check, I guess. But look at the possession. They lost 3-0 and they have 61% of possession.
Easily.
454 passes versus
Yeah,
286
that's,
of Modena. That's an
that's
interesting stat.
Bisolibal for you.
Right.
That's, yeah. I
Right.
mean, yeah, that's, you could have all the possession in the world, but at the end of the day, they scored 3 goals, Juve Stabia 0. So, I mean, whatever is effective, um, works. I didn't watch the game, so I can't really tell much, but, yeah, I mean, I think we don't give Modena enough credit because I still think they have a solid squad, despite, what we say with with Bisole being, a more defensive, old style coach. He gets the best out of the squad, and we saw it with Sutiro, the miracle he did with Sutiro in Sutiro's first season in Serie B, making them to
Yeah,
the
the
semifinals of the
the SU
playoffs. So,
playoffs. Yeah,
um,
yeah, right. here is Luca Moletta, one of your fans, one of your friends, one of your followers. So I don't know. He
Yes.
wrote, "Hi guys." So thank you for being here, Luca.
Hello,
I don't know.
hello, Luca. He's also he has a soft spot for Genoa, so he's definitely going to be
Huh.
rooting for Genoa in the derby later tonight.
I see. I see. Yeah, somebody sent me videos of the situation in the city. Is not, it's a bit troublesome. There were some, yeah, some issues going on in the city between the fans and Forze dell'Ordine. So there were some fights going on through the city. Interesting. Thank you again, Luca, for being here and participating to our lives and enriching it through your interactions and your comment. So moving on, I think you nailed it, right? We should give more credit to Modena, solid team. But yeah, this is looking at the stats when you said that's Bisoli for you right there. You nailed it, I guess. Anyhow, uh, please go ahead.
Oh my, 4-2. This
Spezia Carrarese, he did not disappoint. A game that did not disappoint. Did I tell you or not when I said on the previous round
yeah,
that
this
the
that's
Alberto
the
Pico will not
derby.
let the Eagle lose this game? And they didn't.
Wow.
There is a
So
video going on. Please.
that's another home win for Spezia. What is that now? That's 4 wins in a row, including last season, or
Yeah,
5?
with the last one with Venezia is the fourth one. We this season we are three draws away and three wins on the home in
And
on
the
the home
previous
pitch. Yeah.
one against Venezia, against Palermo, 1-0. I'm looking at it right now. So that's
Ah,
5
okay.
straight home wins in Serie B.
How about that? I
Wow.
hope to soon go back to the chant that we used to sing in Lega Pro when it was still called Serie C. We made it from C2 to C1 from C2, so through from C2 to C1 without losing even a game. The Spezia, coached by Mandorlini, and we used to sing Lo Spezia non perde più. It meant, Spezia is never going to lose again, basically. So that would be a good chant to go back to. But anyhow, as I said, Alberto Pico will not let the Eagles lose this game. And Carrarese started getting the lead after only 5 minutes, but we didn't even blink. We like Alberto Pico was sold out. There was a very good choreography at the beginning, and there is a video that we showed yesterday in the second live of the day, the live with the ISC and co guys. Basically, there is a video recorded by the Carrarese supporters from their section of the stadium, and they are recording the Curva Ferrovia, and they are saying, "Man, this is beautiful." We tell them that they are a laughable fan base, but they are awesome. We are the one that we should be laughing at, ourselves. And said by them, it was like it was as exciting as the win, basically. When in light of the um, astio, how do you say? In light of the help me out, Jake.
Hmm.
Um, in
In
between
light
in light of the rivalry,
mhm.
that I didn't pronounce that word well
The
at all.
rivalry, yeah, the derby.
Thank you. In light of that, it was awesome to hear them say that because they didn't know that it would stay in the recording and then it would get to us. But anyhow, talking about the game, Carrarese gains the lead. During the live, I was even saying it. I'm not even concerned. We're gonna get it back. And in less than 20 minutes, it took us 19 minutes to find the equalizer goal. But we had at least 5 clear opportunities to score the equalizer much sooner. Just their goalkeeper saved the impossible. Then Francesco Pio scored. We got the second goal by his brother from the penalty right at the beginning of the second half. Then I think let me see the numbers because I don't remember in what. Yeah, then they scored again. So it was a kind of an open game, but at the end, Francesco Pio scored again, and Ristov, the captain, with a
Again,
header, just
another goal from
yeah,
himself.
3 goals by Di Esposito, 2 by Francesco Pio, 1 by Salvatore Esposito on the pen from a penalty, and then at the end, Ristov, the captain, who's a defensive player, scored his second goal of this season, and it was awesome because he did he went under the curva, and he just did this. call ended, like the game is done.
The game.
It
Wow,
was
that's
awesome.
something.
It was awesome.
Wow.
So
Yeah, so, obviously, I didn't watch the game because Cittadella were, playing at the same time,
right.
but, wow, this seemed like, everything that you wanted from a derby, in this game. Elia, I have a stat that you will probably like,
Go ahead.
well, yeah, well, I'm looking at it right now, set piece goal 6, you scored 9 goals so far in Serie B, um, and yeah, yeah, 9 goals, right? Is that correct? 9
Say that
goals.
again?
You've scored 9 goals in, Serie B. That seems quite low. I don't know why.
Spezia
Um,
Calcio, you mean?
yeah.
As far as I see here, I see 11.
Okay. So I don't know why this hasn't updated, but, yeah, uh, 6. I don't know why. It's 11 goals, but,
Okay.
6 on set pieces, but that's I just noticed that. I wanted
Yeah, I'm
to,
just looking at this. It might not be updated because, as you said, I mean, it might not be correct.
yeah, yeah,
GF Goal
that's
Fatti, I
correct.
think it's 14 for Pisa, but in reality, is only 12. And then there is Spezia at 11, Sassuolo at 8, and so forth and so on. So
Perfect. Yeah, yeah.
that's
So it's
where I
11.
base my number on.
Yeah, yeah. So the stat I wanted to give you, and this is gonna really get you pumped up, is that Spezia has already gained 10 points from a losing position this season. So they've conceded. They've been in losing positions 4 times this season. They've won 3 of those games and got 1 draw. So that 1 draw against Cremonese. So the way I calculate this is that whenever they fall behind, whenever they concede, so like in this case, they conceded, so they were in a losing position. They ended up winning that game, so that's 3 points gained.
Right.
So that's already 10
That's
points.
because, of
You're
course.
leading Serie B from a lot. The amount of points they gained from losing positions last season in total was 11. So this is
Ah,
already
all right.
yeah.
That's because we finally got to the point that we are aware of ourselves and we know that when the going gets tough, the tough gets going.
Yeah, I mean, this is you should be very, very excited because that's really remarkable. I
No,
think
absolutely.
D'Angelo is really changing the mindset, and this completely looks like a different team this
You're
season compared
absolutely
to
correct.
last. I
It's
mean,
very
you probably know
exciting.
it firsthand, but this is I'd say you'd be very. I'd feel very optimistic if I were a Spezia supporter.
Yes, finger crossed, but there is a lot of enthusiasm. And yeah, and I mean, you see it even on the numbers of the people at the stadium. You see how many people of the Popolo Bianco of the are going to be following the Eagles in Reggio Emilia for the game with Sassuolo. So yeah, no, absolutely, you nailed it. It is what it is. This is Luca D'Angelo doing, and we are all enjoying it, and we are, it's awesome. So let us hear you talking about Mantova Cittadella. Mantova won 1-0, and tell us what happened.
Yeah, well, we're going from a really high, pumped up Spezia game to talk about to a really depressing one. This,
No, this is the way they present it. That's all. That's why.
yeah. So, let me just. I'm not going to sugarcoat it or whatnot, but this was a really poor game from Cittadella.
Oh,
Really disappointing. I'd say it was so far the worst of the season. I mean, 0 shots on target. Yeah, I think that really tells you all you need to know. I mean, it was not. Good
wow.
display from Cittadella. Defense, I thought played pretty solid. I think Mantova probably deserved to score 3 because they had a lot of
Huh.
clear cut opportunities. Especially in the first half, they had a few counterattacks. Maniero, the goalkeeper from Cittadella, had to make a few saves. And really, towards the end, they were kind of just holding on to the point. It would have been a good point, just given how the game went. Whenever you're on the road, it's a good point. But yeah, Mancosu
Right, right.
scoring in the 93rd minute to really seal the win. It's yeah, this was not a good performance. I think yeah, I don't really know how else to put it because it's just not good. They really, but maybe this is a blessing in disguise because they really need to wake up and need a
Wake up
response
at this
in the
point.
next game against Frosinone, which is going to be really big because Frosinone, as we've said, 0 wins, the only team with 0 wins this season, with 3 points on 20th place. If they do win that, they close the gap to 1 point, and Cittadella are in a real hole there after what happened with the Pisa results. So this is a big game on Friday coming up. But
Indeed, it's the moment of the truth. Luca, if you're still following the live, if you are with us currently, let us know your thoughts about the Cittadella game on a brief message on the chat if you like. Jake, what is the reason of this bad performance? Do you think Mantova is just a better team? Do you think that they better prepare the game? Maybe the players of Cittadella don't have their head on the game currently. What is the reason? Because I don't often hear you say they just badly play their cards this time. It's just, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. We sucked basically. So what happened?
yeah, I mean, I think the most obvious thing you could point at is that they don't have a lot going in attack. They're pretty it was pretty toothless in attack in this game. If you look at, the games being played, only 4 goals scored this season. Only Frosinone has the same amount as goals scored, only 4. So
So you're missing good players in key positions. Is that
so
what are you saying?
a lot of fans, a lot of people, you know, they point to the fact, that Guarini, the coach, doesn't have good enough tactics to really get the best out of the offense. It's more like keeping the clean sheet, keeping it tight together, which they have. If it wasn't for that goal, that would have been 3 straight clean sheets without conceding. It's just it's the I think it's the style of play that Guarini has
Hmm.
implemented. You've seen this has kind of been a theme these last 4 seasons with Guarini not scoring enough goals with the team he has,
Hmm.
and I think this has really limited some players because if you look at kind of I think a lot of fans point to the fact that Luca Pandolfi, Claudio Cassano, 2 really good players that were brought in last season. They didn't get they didn't score or they didn't score, but they weren't played or they come into the game very late. And instead of being started, if I go
I
to
see.
the Luca Pandolfi was, I believe, the top scorer last season. Yes, he was the top scorer last season with 8 goals. And then Claudio Cassano had 3 goals, 3 assists. A very good technical young player
Mhm.
that was brought in from Roma last season and was showed really bright spots last season. But it seemed like after the 8 straight losses, Guarini kind of changed the tactic a little bit,
Uh-huh.
and to make it more defensively sound, more compact, and to make it. I've talked to some journalists about this in some of my
Mhm.
podcasts that said, the tactics kind of changed to that limited some of these players like Pandolfi, like Casano,
I
that
see,
weren't
I see.
really
They're not able to
playing
express themselves as they could, but
because of the way
potentially.
they were playing and the new
I
style
see.
of play that kind of focused more on keeping it solid in the back
Right.
and kind of
Got it, got it.
limiting
Would you
attack.
like to read Luca's comment?
Yeah, yeah. Lucas says, he agrees with me. It was an awful game. It was painful to watch. Um, yeah, I mean, I
Here is
would kind
another
of
one.
agree. It was not really a pleasant game to watch. I think definitely the 0-0 game against Catanzaro, even though they didn't score in that match, I think it was better to watch because I think or you could argue that Cittadella probably deserved to win that game. Luca also said, "Let's hope to do better on Friday against Frosinone." Not he doesn't he's not sure if he's going to be at the stadium. He's a season ticket holder. Um,
I
he's
see.
still currently sick, so best of wishes to Luca in terms of
Yeah, we
his
wish you a
recovery.
speedy recovery, Luca, and thank you again. All right, so I'm sorry to hear about this disappointing game of Cittadella. I hope you guys can turn things around because, of course, doing this with you, I'm starting to sympathize with for Cittadella. So I hope you guys the very best. And then the last game of the round of the sixth round of this championship was Frosinone, was going to be the next opponent of Cittadella. Frosinone Bari 0-3. Very convincing victory of Bari, who started very badly this season, but now is turning things around. And yeah, these
Yeah.
are the stats of the game.
Oh man, it's
Vivarini is
really.
really at risk, I guess.
I mean, first Unone, it's really. I think the sirens are going off. That's now 3 straight games without scoring a goal. That's 7 goals conceded. Last two with Brescia and Frosinone. Um, it's really not looking good. And guess who they play next? It's Cittadella. So let's see.
But yeah, that's a good opportunity. That's a good opportunity because you're not doing great and you're finding another an opponent that's clearly in some sort of difficulty, and it could be a good opportunity for you guys to turn things around. I mean, it would be more difficult to face something like a team like Brescia or yeah,
Pisa or Spezia.
Pisa. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I would approach it from this angle.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But yeah,
Yeah.
let's get into that next round of sheet. Who? How did we do? How did we favor
Yeah,
this
let's
last
do
round?
that. Before we see the games of the next round, let's check out how we did with the predictions of this round that we just uh, commented. So I'm sharing, perfect. I'm verifying what we're seeing. So these were the results of round one. You were leading by 2 points. These are the results of round two. I caught up 1 point. You were leading 7-6. Round three, you really gained some lead there, 12 points to 9. Then at the end of round four, we got 16-12. You were killing me, man. And now we are at round six. So this was round five. I caught up a bit, but you were still leading by 2 points. So now we are seeing how we're checking out how we did for the predictions of round six. Would you like to read them?
Sure.
Go ahead.
Well, Catanzaro Cremonese, you get 1 point. I get 0 because you correctly predicted that Cremonese would win. Palermo Cesena, another point for you. Ended in a draw. Um, what else? What else? What else?
Sorry.
Continuing down, Sampdoria Südtirol. I did get 1 point because I did predict Sampdoria
Nice.
to win. Brescia, Pisa Brescia. I thought this was going to be a snoozer game, but nope. Another point for Speziato and another point for Speziato. Reggiana Salernitana. Once I get one for Sassuolo. Once again, another point for Elia. Oh my! I think he's taking the lead, and another point for Elia for
Yeah, Spezia.
Spezia
I
Caradesi.
was,
I do get one, but
that's the one we agreed on.
yeah,
Yeah,
that doesn't make a difference. And then Mantova Cittadella 0 for both of us. I was
right,
close. If Cittadella had held on, I would have gotten a point. But and
right,
Frosinone Bari,
all
same
right,
thing. I don't think
right.
we expected Bari to win.
All right. So this week, I scored 6 points. You scored 3 points, and I, for the first time in the season, gained the lead, 23-22. How exciting is that? Let's hear it, guys. Let's hear it. Hold on. Let me find.
All right.
Fair
So
play, fair play. I got to start stepping it up.
yeah. We gotta decide who's gonna win. Whoever is gonna win this at the end of the season. We gotta meet, and whoever once that we meet at the end of the season in the States, I'll come to visit you, or you come to visit me, picks up the tab for lunch or something, just to get an excuse to get together and meet finally.
Or how about if you lose? If you lose to me, you have to wear a Carrarese shirt for the entire day.
No, that I will never agree to. I'd rather buy you lunch.
Oh.
We'll see. Anyhow, let's make our predictions on the next round. The first game of the next round is going to be Cittadella Frosinone. So this is going to be a very exciting game. Oh man, do I start
Well,
with the predictions?
sure, yeah, because it was Cittadella, the team that we are currently covering. Well, we kind of already said, I've kind of already alluded to the fact that this is a big game for both sides. Frosinone trying to get a win. Um,
Thank you,
because
Luca. Sorry. Thank you,
No,
Luke. I
no,
appreciate
thanks.
your support. How
Uh,
about that comeback? Just like Spezia. How about that?
yeah, yeah, true, true. This
For now, we're gonna
Wow,
see. It's
it
a
really runs
long.
through the entire fan base, the comeback mentality. Uh,
Sorry.
Cittadella
Good.
Frosinone. Yeah, this is a big game for both. I really want to see Cittadella with a reaction because they've had 2 games with
Yeah.
outscoring a goal, kind of starving, craving for goals. Uh, and after a disappointing performance in Mantova, I think they really got to show to the fans that this is, there, and especially after the court ruling from Pisa that
Right. Yeah. No,
that
they gotta be extra motivated for this game.
yes, to kind of show that we're not dead yet. We're not gonna go down with a fight. So for that reason,
Right.
I think for the first time in this series that I am predicting Cittadella will win the game. So put a 1 there.
Nice.
Yeah.
I have the connection. Okay, perfect. Not one. Perfect. Absolutely. No, I agree with you. I'm not gonna, make it that long. I put one as well. This is my prediction. Cittadella's gotta win. Has to win this home game. The next game is Sassuolo Spezia. We talked extensively about Spezia, so are both realities, which are the main, the core of our basically our program. I'm not going to spend too much time on it. I really do hope that Spezia will continue with this positive streak, perfect English average, as they call it, win the home game and equalize and, draw on the away game. So, X.
X. Okay. Um, as much as I don't want to, agree with the predictions, I also think it's going to be a draw, an X.
All right.
Um, Sp- Sassuolo, like we said, coming off 3 road victories, they're finally being home against a good Spezia side. I think this is going to be a good game. So for that point, I think a draw is fair. I think both sides will be fine with settling for that.
And what we also have to keep in mind, we're playing in Reggio Emilia, is not that far away. Probably Spezia supporters are going to outnumber Sassuolo
And
supporters that might play some as well, because
is
now there is really a really good communion between the fan base and the team again. So I think that might have something, something to say, something,
and
some count, some weight.
is this the first trip to Reggio Emilia since the Spareggio, the playoff against Verona?
No. I think we played already last season with
Oh,
Reggiana.
that's right, with Reggiana.
I don't
Yes.
remember the result. I don't remember all these things. You're much better than me, than I, with the stats and the memories of who scored and the results. I have no recollection. Honestly, I don't remember.
And
So let's move on because I think we are almost at the hour. Sorry, go ahead.
oh,
What
that's
were you
right.
saying?
Oh, I just wanted to just say one thing because, obviously this is, Sassuolo. I think the first time they meet, um, you know, remember who plays for Sassuolo is Andrea Consigli, who made that
Yeah,
Eroraccio.
but yeah, right. Indeed, the biscotto you labeled it during the last episode. You're right. No, Consigli is not going to be part of this game. I think he's out of the squad or some, so he's not going to be present this weekend. We talked
Mm,
about it even at the most recent episode of Spazio al Prossimo with the journalist who was the protagonist of the episode, Antonio Parrotto of Tutto Mercato Web. So Consigli is not going to partake to the game. So the next
okay.
game is Bari Cosenza. Uh, it's yours to predict first, correct?
Yes. So Bari coming off a good stretch of results. Cosenza, always a difficult team to play. I think they're much better than what the standings count for. Um, I don't know. Cosenza, they beat Sampdoria. Now they lose to Sassuolo. Ah, man, I'm going to say a draw for this. I think X is fair for that. Um, you know,
All right.
yeah.
So I do support Cosenza. I really like the Wolves, the Lupi. I'm in good relationship with 2 journalists, from Cosenza, with Valentina Mitidieri, with Antonio Palopoli. I really want Cosenza to do well, but I think Bari is really coming up, is really getting into a good shape. So I'm looking at the most recent stats. They come out of 4 positive results out of the most recent 5 games: draw, win, win. So I think that in Bari they're gonna win this game. So I'm gonna say 1.
And also, you like you like Cosenza because of Alvini, the ex Spezia boss. Is that true?
Right. But at the
Yeah.
same time, there is very good relationship with Bari fans, between Spezia and Bari fans. So I could sympathize for both teams. But I just, if I have to make a prediction based on the stats, I would say Bari has more chances to win this game because they play on their own field. They might have the home advantage, and because of the most recent results. So I'm gonna say 1. We'll see. The next game is Carrarese Reggiana. So these two, the fan bases of the two teams, they used to have a gemellaggio. The fan base now respect each other, although there is no longer a gemellaggio. They are both enemies of our of our fan base. Yeah, I don't want to say enemy, but for lack of a better word, my English, has some challenges. So it's going to be an interesting game. They're going to be playing still in Pisa, if I'm not mistaken, because until the end of October, probably in November, Carrarese is not going to play in Carrara. So I just think Carrara is probably the weakest team in the league. They really need points. And Reggiana, I was talking about it with Roberto Tegoni, is not in a very good shape. Yeah, they come out of win-win, loss, and a draw. Most recently, they draw with Salernitana in Reggio Emilia. So I think Carrara really needs point. I would say X2, but I know that we don't do doubles. So that's a tough game, man. I'm gonna say X just because I don't think that Carrarese can keep on losing.
Yeah, I'm gonna get surprise win for Carrarese. I'm gonna put 1.
All right.
They beat
I like how
Suturo.
risky you are.
They could hang with anyone, I think. They took the lead against Spezia. They were close to drawing Sassuolo in the previous game and only
The
losing
first half
1-0.
ended 0-0 with Sassuolo, right?
Only losing 1-0 to Cremonese. Yeah, I think they'll do it. And like you said,
All right.
Reggiana kind of unpredictable right now. Yeah,
Mhm.
go Carrarese.
All right. Yeah. Okay. Whatever you say, man. I'm not gonna say that. Sure. Next game is Cesena Mantova. What are your thoughts on it?
Ooh, 2 of the newly promoted teams. They're both group winners. I don't know. Cesena coming off draw at Palermo, win against Pisa. 2 pretty good results. Even though it's the Coppa Italia, anything could really happen there. Uh, I'll do Cesena 1. I really,
1.
like I've said multiple times, I like this Cesena squad. Uh, Mantova, they were a good squad, but I still think they had some flaws in them. So yeah, Cesena 1.
All right. Look, I don't know much about it. I see Mantova is very convincing. Cesena is the team that, among those that the Spezia played with, that Spezia faced, is the one that surprised me the most. So I feel, how about a biscotto on this one, and they're not gonna hurt each other. I'm gonna say X. So
Wow.
no, it's too
Wow.
early to do biscotti,
Yeah,
but I
yeah.
think yeah, they're probably an X would be a acceptable result for both realities. So I'll say X. We'll see. We'll see. Then the next game is Modena Sampdoria. Sampdoria won after losing only a draw and 1 win. Actually, 2 draws and 1 win. So they're not in any kind of shape.
But they do have the derby in a few hours or a few minutes actually.
Right, for Coppa Italia, right. And they're facing Modena, which is in better shape. In Modena, Bisoli is a master. I'm gonna say 1. No, I really
Okay.
like Bisoli. I like Bisoli not because of his mentality, but for how he applies his credo. You know what I mean? Like he's a really tough guy, no bullshit, just getting the job done. I really like that kind of approach. So Bisoli, go Bisoli.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if Sampdoria will win the derby in about an hour or so, but I do think they will win this game. So give me a due there.
All right, I like it. I like it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't know. I think it'll be another close game, but for some reason I just see Sampdoria winning.
All right. The next game is Juve Stabia Pisa. It seemed like an easy game to predict, but there are no easy games in Serie B. So, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I mean, Juve Stabia had a good home performance against Palermo, even though they lost that game. But then they lost 3-0 in Modena. Pisa, the Capitalista, the first place leaders. Um,
Capolista, yeah, Capolista.
yeah, so I don't know. It's a trip down south. It's not easy. It's on turf, remember? So it's not a natural grass surface. It's kind of a compressed stadium. Um, so this is a tricky game once again, but this is really I don't know if I see Pisa winning, so I'm gonna say a draw, so an X.
All right. I thought it would have been a kind of a riskier result to predict an X. I just don't want Pisa to keep on winning, man. They're gonna kill the championship if they proceed with this pace. But
Yeah.
just to disagree with you, I'm gonna say two. But I don't think that Juve Stabia has any chances to win this game. So it's going to either be an X, as you predicted, or Pisa is gonna win even this game. I just Pisa is just in too good of a shape. Nothing to take away from Juve Stabia, but I just think there are rullo compressore, as I was saying before we started the live. So we'll see. We'll see. Then they are also pumped. Cittadella might be pissed because of the points that got removed, but they might also be pumped now that they
Mhm.
have already
Or
some sort of a
or
lead.
maybe
So,
relaxed a little bit too much.
oh yeah, that's a good angle. Never know, never know. We'll find out. Next game is Salernitana Catanzaro. Ah, is it my turn?
Yes.
Salernitana Catanzaro, now they are only 1 point away. Salernitana 14th spot with 7 points, and Catanzaro at the 16th place with 6 points. So they're going to be playing in Salernitana. So I do sympathize for Salernitana. They also have Daniele Verde. I'm going to say 1.
Mm. I was also thinking about 1 too, so I'll put another 1 there. Um,
All right.
it's Salernitana playing at home. They've been kind of up and down this season, but getting the win against Cittadella, getting the win against Sampdoria, I think this will be another home win for them.
All right. So Catanzaro would be really struggling this season if they lose this game, though. But it is a difficult game for them. So we shall see. Südtirol, Palermo.
Ooh, I think this is the longest trip of the season for
Right.
either side because Palermo all the way down south, Südtirol all the way up north near the border of Austria. So I don't, man. I'm gonna put 1. I'm gonna put Südtirol there. I don't know about it definitely be a very impressive win
Oh,
for
sorry.
Palermo. Even though they have, maybe on paper the better squad, it's just the Stadio Giusto and Südtirol, it's never an easy place to play. Um, so yeah, for that, I'm gonna put Südtirol victory.
I agree with your angle. I do understand your angle and the reasoning behind your prediction, but I do disagree. I'm going to say 2 because they are only 1 point away. I was checking. Südtirol has 9 points. They lost 3 games, and Palermo has 4 consecutive positive results: win, draw, win, and draw. So I think that this is a test for Palermo to see if they are going to be the team that everybody expect them to be for this season.
Yeah,
So if they want to comfortably achieve a playoffs position, or potentially, as I predicted them to do, directly go to Serie A, they gotta make these wins away with teams that are not particularly in shape right now. So I'm gonna predict 2 just because I foresee Palermo getting back uh, in making some points and becoming one of the protagonists of the championship. Go ahead.
yeah. This is a kind of a weird game too because, like we said, it's a long road trip. It's also played on a Monday because Palermo is playing in the Coppa Italia against Napoli tomorrow. So it's being played on Monday at 7:30 p.m. So it's still the kickoff time is a little off because normally it would kick off like at 8:30. So I don't know. This is a weird wanky game
for
to
many aspects. Yeah,
yeah. So I
for many.
I think Südtirol, yeah.
All right, perfect. It's good to disagree so that we're not making boring our game. It's perfect. So the last game of round 7 is Brescia Cremonese. So this is another one of those big matches of the round, I guess. Because both of them, Cremonese certainly wants the promotion, and Brescia last season, although it was promoted, picked back up from Lega Pro, then did achieve a playoff spot, and they started well, although now they are struggling a little bit. I think it's one of the few teams like Südtirol, for example, that did not draw yet. They either won or lost. So they had 3 losses and 3 wins. I'm gonna say Cremonese, so I'm gonna say 2, but maybe an X. I don't know. I'm just gonna say 2. I
Yeah,
predicted a lot of away wins even this week. Go ahead.
yeah. I mean, well, first of all, I think I want to apologize. I think I might have said a bad word when I was talking about Südtirol Palermo. I said like a wanky result. Apparently, that's a bad slang word in British. So
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
didn't know.
I didn't mean to say that. I meant to say like a wonky result. So,
No, I
um,
didn't catch it. It's not my mother tongue,
oh well.
so
Well, if
I
anyone is
didn't take it
watching,
bad.
if
Yeah,
anyone's watching,
absolutely, absolutely.
I
For the
apologize
audience,
for that. But
absolutely.
anyway, Brescia Cremonese. This is a tough game to call, man. I'm gonna say a draw, an X in this.
Yeah,
Think
I don't disagree. Yeah.
both teams, yeah, definitely good. Yeah, it's hard to predict. I could really see this going either way.
Indeed, indeed. Okay, so we are done with the predictions about round 7, and we're eager to see who's going to perform better in this little game of ours. And so these are also the games of the next round. We saw 2 big matches. We have Spezia playing away in Reggio Emilia with Sassuolo, a very interesting game. Cittadella with Frosinone, as Jake thoroughly explained us. And then we have Brescia Cremonese, which is another interesting game, but also Palermo Südtirol for potentially seeing who's going to be in the second half. I mean, the Serie B is all interesting and fascinating. Every game has its own story. So, unless there is anything else to add, probably this is a good time to wrap up today's episode. Jake, if you just want to remind where we can find your content and how we can listen to your podcast and all your pages and so forth.
Yeah. So as always, you could follow us on Twitter and Instagram, YouTube at Cheetah Culture USA. And you could follow our website, cheetahcultureusa.com, for information, articles, news, recaps, all that stuff about Cittadella. And, you could find the podcast anywhere on Spotify, Apple, Google, you name it, Cheetah Culture USA show. So just type that in on your preferred podcast streaming and you're set to go.
Awesome. And Jake, thank you very much for the time you take every week to do this program together with me. I don't thank you enough, at every episode, but I mean it, and I really appreciate your time.
Yep. Thank you, Elia, for also taking the time. I'm really enjoying speaking Serie B, and let's see what happens in the next round of games.
Indeed. As far as I'm concerned, the main platform to follow our content on is YouTube, the Elia the Italian Guy channel. We're not only talking about soccer, but a few other subjects as well. And you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and all the links to our pages are on the description of this live. Thank you all for following and participate actively through the chat to today's live as well. And we'll see you next Wednesday at 7 p.m. CE time. If you're going to be there with us, we will be speaking Serie B.